Today's video is sponsored by Camel City Mill. So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. I'm sure you can tell by the way I'm dressed. It is hunting season in West Virginia, and I'm down here at the cabin. It's been a crazy couple days so far. Today is day 2. I just came down to my truck here. I had it parked by the gate. Had to get a few things out of it, but a buddy of mine came down with me, Tim, and he is going towards the back of the property, and I'm going to go for a little hike here in a minute, see if we can't get something moving. I'm going to walk down the road here, then down the other road, and come in through the white pine up towards the red pine. But we've seen a lot of deer yesterday and this morning, probably around 35 or 40 deer. I think most of them were all doe, maybe a couple little buck. It was kind of hard to tell. We did see one decent buck, probably like a nice 8-point, but he had just crossed out of the pines onto one of the neighbors' property, and that's when we could confirm that it was a buck, but he was on the neighbor's property. But the turkeys, I can't even, there has to have been, we had to seen 150 turkeys in the last 2 days, and I'm sure some of them were the same, but like one flock this morning right by the cabin, there was probably 60 in one flock, and they're huge down here. They're everywhere. Yesterday morning, we were coming in because we left home about 4 a.m. and drove straight down here. So it was just about getting daylight, and the turkeys all roost in these pines, and they were carrying on, making a racket up there like I never heard before. It was, they're just everywhere down here. But the weather has changed dramatically. On Friday, they had about a foot of snow down here, and then it turned to rain. We came down on Saturday just to kind of get some things ready for hunting season. It rained pretty much all day. Sunday, I don't think they had any rain, but when we came down here yesterday morning, there was still a good 6 inches of snow on the ground, and you could see really well back through the woods, and it's one of the reasons we saw so many deer. And then last night, overnight, it poured down the rain. I mean, probably well over an inch and a half of rain last night, and almost all the snow, like I said, had a foot on the ground on Friday. Almost all the snow is gone. And it's kind of windy, so visibility is tough right now when it comes to deer hunting. The wind, every little thing that moves you think is a deer. You can't see them because of the snow. And I think they're probably bedded down right now. We'll probably bump a few up when we go walk through those pines. I did yesterday, and what happens is you're looking way out ahead of you. I got the binoculars. You're looking, and one's laying down literally 75 feet from you, just stands up, walks away. So they're hanging pretty tight. One other thing I have to do down here while I'm here, I need to get a Christmas tree. We'll take care of that today as well. Melissa wants another little white pine from down here. We get a nice tree for in the building, but in the house, it's a nice tree as well. I've been getting just these little Charlie Brown Christmas trees from down here. Over off the other road, where the white pine touches the road, there's a power line right there. So they cut it every couple years anyway, and it's just, there's hundreds of those little white pines growing up. So I'll whack one of them like a little 5 or 6 footer or something. So at the beginning of today's video, I mentioned that it was sponsored by Camel City Mill, and I want to talk just briefly about sponsored videos in general.
We turn down literally 99% of the offers that are presented to us. Pretty choosy about who we partner with. It has to be a good fit for the channel, has to be the right product or service, and I do my homework, I do my due diligence. Well, when I first learned of Camel City Mill, I discovered they make some really nice socks. I mean really nice. And these are made in North Carolina, all American made in an American mill, made from merino wool. These things are fantastic. I wore these hiking around West Virginia the last couple days. They stay up. They're comfortable as all get out. They wick sweat. You know, when you go hunting, you're wearing like those 1,200 gram Thinsulate boots. And if you sit, you get cold. If you walk, your feet get sweaty. These are fantastic. And when I did my homework about this company, you know, I look into everything, and then I start reading the reviews. And then I did one sponsored video for them before this one, and I was reading through some of the comments of people that have bought them. And I'm telling you, these things will change your life. If you are like me, literally the most important article of clothing to me is my socks. It really is. I like to have comfortable feet. These are the ticket. They really are. If you get them, I guarantee you will love them. And get this, they have a 10 years on socks durability guarantee. You can't beat it. Their socks are available in boot, crew, and ankle lengths. They have double-plated nylon fortification in the heel and toe. And like I said, they're made from 54% merino wool. Wool, that's a tough word for me to say. And they are 100% American made. Get 10% off on my favorite work socks from Camel City Mill with code Morgans10.
One more thing before we go on a little walk here together. You know where I have seen the most wildlife on the property since we've been down here? Right from the cabin. Yesterday we probably spent a good 3.5 hours just sitting in the cabin looking out the windows, and we saw deer on and off all day and turkeys like crazy. This morning we were in there, just figured we'd wait till it got light, and then we stayed for about another hour or so. But we saw 6 or 8 deer from the cabin and that flock of about 60 turkeys. Right behind the cabin, there's a bunch of standing water from all the rain and the snow melt. And there were 2 little fawns, and one of them had the zoomies. It was hilarious. I'm looking out the upstairs window. It's right there below me, just tearing back and forth through the water. Reminded you of like a puppy or something down there. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The cabin though seems to be the best spot on the property. You can see all the water just running down the road here. Not near as bad as it was when we got here this morning. So we have some white pine right in here. Driveway to the cabin's right up there where the truck is. I'm going to walk all the way down to the end of this road here, hang a left, go down there about a 1/4 mile, and we have frontage on that road as well. And then I'll walk in through the white pine and end up making my way back to the cabin. So we're down here on the other road now. These are all the white pine. I'm going to go another maybe 200 yards up there and start working my way in. Here's where all these little white pines start growing underneath the power line. From here the whole way to the end. But they cleared all this, you know, this little section here 3 years ago. And it's just incredible how fast these things grow. Here's one here that a buck kind of ripped up pretty good. Took all the limbs off the lower part. This one will work. Backside is kind of bare, but that'll go up against the wall. This will be fine. Well, I may not have gotten a deer yet, but I have harvested a Christmas tree. pick this up this evening. So we're going to go down to the end of the property and then come through here on an angle. It looks so different than it did yesterday with no snow. And it is so dark back in there. It's real thick in here. Over that way is a property line about 50 yards. And I think that property was logged not that long ago, which allows a little bit of sunlight in here and down that way towards the road. You know, you get some sunlight in from the road, but as you walk deeper into the pines, it gets a little bit more open. There's not as much underbrush. You'll see that here in just a minute. I just saw 3 or 4 about 100 yards, not even, maybe 75 yards out in front of me. I think they're all doe, but I'm not sure. They're headed right to my buddy Tim, I think. I was thinking to myself, all that rain and all the snow kind of made a mess of things, but we really needed it down here. We're in a drought. It's nice to get all that, you know, snow melt and rain before the ground freezes. That way it kind of soak in instead of just all running off. But it was a really dry summer and fall.
So I got back from the cabin last night, probably around 9:30. I'm kind of ready to get back into the swing of things here this morning. I got a fire going in the wood stove. I think we're going to cut some firewood today. We're going to work on the new building out by the clearing a little bit, but it's going to get cold. It is. I've been checking the forecast. I think the first day of deer season here, it's going to be a high in the mid-20s, low in the teens, and it looks as though that pattern is going to stay with us for a while. But we didn't get a deer down in West Virginia. We saw tons of doe, like I mentioned earlier, turkeys everywhere. When we were leaving, to add insult to injury, we saw a pretty decent buck in a field right across the road from our place, but we had a good time. We did. That is a great place. I can't wait till my grandkids get a little bit older and I can take them down there hunting, because it would be a great place to introduce a child into hunting, which I think we should all try to do. You know, even if you don't have kids or grandkids, maybe you know somebody that does, that wants to learn to go hunting. But it is kind of a dying tradition. I hate to admit it. You know, when I was a kid, it was just everywhere. I mean, that's what everybody did. And I think it's good for the youth to get out there. So I look forward to when my grandkids are a little bit older, take them down to the cabin. They can hunt here as well. And I just think it's a good thing to kind of carry on that tradition. So that's one of my goals, is to be more of a advocate for hunting. And what's weird is I don't even care if I get anything anymore. I really don't. I just enjoy the whole process. Around here, at home, you know, like that food plot I built out there, the trail cameras. I've got that nice Sony camera with that big lens. I like taking pictures of them as much as anything anymore. And plus, I got that elk in Colorado, so our freezers are pretty well stocked up right now. And you know, when I was younger, I was pretty hardcore when it came to hunting. I mean, I would get wound up and just not stop trying to get a decent buck, you know. And now I have found I enjoy it more, just the entire process, and hunting with friends and family and things like that. So I'd like to see that continue. You know, I don't think a lot of people know what they're missing out on if they've never tried it before. So
I am headed down to the wood yard. I'm just going to get some more firewood in the bucket of the tractor, top off all the racks. Like I said, it's going to get colder. But on my way down, I saw 3 or 4 deer over there across the valley. Today is Wednesday. You're going to see this video on Thanksgiving. And I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments. But I have an awful lot to be thankful for this year. We've had a good year. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for all of you that watch our videos and, you know, buy like the fire starter and all that stuff. And we have a really, really nice community here with this channel, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful for all of you. And I think that's about it for today's video. But let me know in the comments what you are thankful for. If you're going to go deer hunting, and a lot of you probably already have been. And like I said earlier, I think we should all try to get some kids out there and keep this going. It's a good thing. But I appreciate y'all being here, and I will catch you on the next one.